Hello world, Shelly here, and it is time for your Friday foundation fix, where you can get your fix of foundation reviews in between foundation fests. And today I've got the new release from IT Cosmetics. It is the Bye Bye Foundation Full Coverage Moisturizer. It's an SPF 50 plus UVA UVB protection. It is supposed to be very good at hydrating the skin, and it's clinically tested with anti-aging 3D skin flex, whatever the heck that is. I've got the Ulta website pulled up right here. Right now, this foundation, moisturizer, whatever we want to call it, I'm going to call it foundation, is getting about 3.5 out of 5 stars with 136 reviews. It retails for $39.50. You get 1.014 fluid ounces of product. Let's bust into this box here. Here we go. We got a pump. Most people that I've seen looking at this product have been comparing it to the IT Cosmetics CC Plus cream, which has very similar packaging, the pump, the squeezy tube. This comes in 12 different shades, whereas I believe the CC Plus came in 7 different shades. So you are getting a slightly better shade range, still not a phenomenal shade range by any stretch. But for those of you with fair skin, it looks like they have added some variety to the lighter end of the spectrum, which I like to see. So now you've got 2 choices of fair. You've got fair for ultra porcelain with warm undertones. You've got fair light for fair skin with cool undertones. Then there's just a plain old light, which is what I've got, which is light skin with yellow warm undertones, and I only did that because I'm self-tanning, so I do have a little, my skin pulls warm when I do self-tanner. Then you've got light medium, which is light to medium skin with cool undertones, and then they go on from there. There's a tan, and then a tan to rich, and then 2 deep shades. So they're really, heavy on the middle medium part of the spectrum, but I'm glad to see that they expanded it at least a little bit. It's a step in the right direction. That's Polly. So that is what we are starting out with. In terms of the claims that they make, it's a full coverage moisturizer with SPF 50 plus, your first ever full coverage moisturizer that gives you the power to say bye-bye to your foundation and hello to your most beautiful skin. They're so dramatic. Developed with plastic surgeons, yada, yada, yada. Proprietary 3D Skin Flex technology, hydrating, color-infused moisturizer provides smooth, flexible, pure color pigments that float over lines and wrinkles and feel like nothing on your skin, but cover everything without creasing or cracking. Ideal for all skin types. It's got 7 key fermented ingredients for the increase of absorption, can't speak. Bioluminescence and diamond powder for subtle radiance without glitter or shimmer. Clinically tested hydration, smoothing, skin perfecting, full coverage. Okay, those are the claims. I really thought I turned my phone off. Did you hear my snaps coming in? So let's take a look at this not foundation and compare it to some other foundations in this shade range in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation in the shade Light. Next to it, I've got the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Cream in the shade Fair, which according to the current new color scheme for Bye Bye Foundation, this would be 2 shades lighter, and I'd say that's about right. Third up, I've got the MAC Studio Sculpt in shade NW15. Fourth is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in shade 1C, One Cool Bone. And last, I've got the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in shade 3. Now, of these foundations, the 3 of them that are warm-toned are the 2 IT Cosmetics and then the Giorgio Armani. Now, looking at the CC Plus, it's definitely yellow undertone. Giorgio Armani, definitely yellow undertone. The Bye Bye Foundation, though, it claims to be yellow undertone, but I really see more pink than anything. If you compare it to the NW15 MAC, that is a cool undertone. They look very similar in undertone. If you compare it to the Estee Lauder in 1C One Cool Bone, that is also a cool undertone, and I just feel like the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation looks more cool to me. In terms of lightness to darkness, I would say it's probably about number 20 in MAC, like an NW20, if I had to guess, so that is where we're at. I am having focus issues. This camera is driving me nuts today. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened my face. I have primed using the Strivectin Anti-Wrinkle Line Blur Factor. Love this stuff. We are starting out with a 43-year-old face. I've got some sun damage that I like to cover up. I cut myself on my nostril with my fingernail. How do these things happen? I don't know, but I do have some fine lines on my forehead, my smile lines, deeper chin lines. I have large pores that like to come out and scream right around my cheeks, my chin, and the center of my forehead. I have generally dry skin, which does not produce oil. Sometimes my skin is dehydrated. I am not suffering that right now. I have actual pretty good hydration going on. My recent skincare has been helping me a lot with that. And that is where we are starting out. Now, they recommend that you either use a brush or fingertips for application of this product. Of course, they recommend their IT Cosmetics Airbrush number 77. I got this because Ulta ran a deal where if you bought the foundation, you got the brush for free. This thing is a little bit strange. It's got collagen and peptide anti-aging ingredients infused into the brush hairs. Do you see how it's pink? Like, when I first opened it up, I didn't realize that was the deal, and I thought, ugh, did I get an open returned product from Ulta? You know, that whole lawsuit that's going on. And I have gotten open products that I thought were new at Ulta before, but no, then I read up on it and it's got skincare ingredients in the brush. I don't understand that, really. I've never seen such a thing. It feels really, really soft. It feels lovely. So I will use this brush. I do have a sponge on hand. This is my EcoTools Total Perfecting Blender. I swear it's clean, but since they recommend fingertips, I think I will start with half my face with fingertips, half my face with a brush. Got the sponge just in case we need it, and we'll see how that goes. So let's take a look at the consistency. They say to use 1 to 2 pumps for your whole face, and let's see where that gets us. This is like 1.5 pumps because this looks like a lot of product, and it's pretty thick. You can see my camera in the reflection. It's snowing outside. You see how white it is out there? Yeah, it's snowing, guys. What is happening? I thought it was spring. So like I said, this is shade Light, which is the 3rd lightest shade. There are 2 shades darker than this, so if you are fair-skinned, don't be panicked by this one. This is one of the first attempts I'm making at matching this darker shade, so I've never self-tanned in my life. So this might be a disaster. It might not. We'll see. If anything, it's probably going to be too dark because I'm probably overestimating how much tan I've got. Wait, I was going to use fingertips, wasn't I? Okay. It has that signature lemony scent that most IT Cosmetics face makeup does. When's the last time I used fingers to put foundation on? I feel so awkward right now. I think it went on fine with fingertips. I do think it is doing a very nice job at canceling out redness on my skin. I do still see freckles and sunspots poking through here, so I would not say at 1 coat we are at full coverage, but I think it looks nice right out of the gate. Nothing seems to be clinging to dry patches or injuries on my face, and so far looks all right. Let's try the brush side and see how that goes. I also desperately need to shave my face. I'm so furry right now. I think the brush is doing absolutely fine. I do not really see a difference in coverage between the brush and the fingertip application. So whatever your preference, I would say go with that. I just feel like the brush is a lot faster. I think we are at a light medium coverage right now. This is supposed to be a full coverage moisturizer, so let's try to build it up a little bit and see if we can get a little closer to full coverage. I think it looks beautiful on the skin right now. It really looks like your skin, but better. It's kind of a nice blur to texture. It's giving me a little bit of blur to my pores. Let's see how buildable it is. I'm going to do 1 more pump. I think the finish of this is really nice. It is a little buildable. I'd say we're at a solid medium coverage right now. I don't think you could get this to full coverage. I can still see my little blood vessel poking through underneath there. I can still see the darkest of my sunspots still poking through. So I don't think this is full coverage. And I do feel like we're on the verge of looking heavy. So if I go any farther with product, I'm gonna have too much product on my face and it's gonna look just too heavy. But as it is, I think it looks very nice. It's almost slightly dewy finish. It's got a nice sort of luminance to it without being overly dewy. It looks healthy. It looks nice in terms of blurring. I do think it's accentuating these lines just a little bit. My little Meredith Grey wrinkle here is kind of sticking out to me, but I'm getting slight blurring of pores, nice blurring of texture, and I don't have any settling into lines yet at this point. I really like this brush. This feels nice, and it blended everything out wonderfully. I did not use all of that last pump. I used probably half of it. So I would say about 2 pumps if you're going for the most coverage you can get out of this foundation. Not foundation, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna go put the rest of my face on. The time is 11:29. Let's call it 11:30 and I'll be right back. I'm back, here we go. Everything blended out just fine on top of the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye foundation. The one thing I'm noticing is that I feel like the coverage is a little bit uneven. It's not applied unevenly, but it is uneven in the sense that some areas I still see pink coming through, like on my chin, and in some places it just doesn't seem quite even. However, I do think it looks very nice. I did notice that as every minute went by, it seemed to get more and more and more dewy. So I did end up setting it. I used the Maybelline Fit Me. I just picked this up in the shade Light. I also have it in the shade Fair. This worked wonderfully. I think the foundation accepted setting powder perfectly well, even though it's not supposed to be foundation. So that is where we are starting out. I think it looks nice. I think it's a little bit uneven in some places. It did start to settle into my smile lines and a little bit into my forehead lines. So I tapped them out and then I also set them with a damp sponge and powder, my smile lines especially. So we'll see if that keeps product away from settling into those lines in the future. But overall, I think it looks nice. I think it's got decent blurring of pores, very nice blurring of texture. I think it looks nice. I think we're starting out in a pretty okay place. On the rest of my face, I've got the NYX Highlight and Contour Cream Stick Duo thing as my contour. L'Oreal Glam Bronze is my bronzer. My blush is Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink. My highlight is Physicians Formula Butter Highlight in Pearl. My eyes, I picked up the Carity Unicorn Dreams eyeshadow palette, and the colors are right up my alley, but unfortunately, this one doesn't seem as pigmented as the other 2 palettes I've got of theirs. I felt like I had to work really hard to build up any color, and then I ended up topping it with some Stila Glitter and Glow because I just couldn't get it to look the way I wanted it to. So my first impression of this was not as good as I had hoped. I will continue trying it and let you guys know if that changes. I also tried out for the first time the new Smashbox Superfan mascara, and I ended up, okay, I love it for the lower lash line. Do you see how my lower lashes, I look like I have a gazillion of them? But for my upper lashes, so I have very straight lashes. They don't like to hold a curl. So I curl them, and then I really need a strong mascara to hold them up there because otherwise they just go back down like that. And this did a great job at separating my lashes and coating the individual lashes, but then they were just kind of drooping. So then I went over it with the Maybelline Total Temptation to kind of help with volume and to help sort of keep that curl, and that helped a lot. So I think I'm going to enjoy this for a lower lash line mascara. Probably won't use it again as my main mascara. Lip, I'm trying. I bought the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick and lip liner. It is beautiful. I almost had trouble with it because it's like exactly the same color as my lips, but it feels really comfortable. It's very, it's everything I expected I would feel about a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, and I think that is all we got going on here. So that is where we're starting out. We'll call 11:30 the check-in time. I'll be back in a few hours with the daylight check-in, and I will come back at the end of the night with my final thoughts. Hello, gloomy daylight check-in in front of the new Jeep. And we're at about the 5-hour mark right now with the IT Cosmetics. No oxidation happening. I think the color match is really nice, and you can't see the rest of my body right now, but it does look really nice. At a distance, I think this actually looks gorgeous. Every time I've passed a mirror, I've thought it looks really beautiful. Up close, I think my pores are starting to get a little bit more visible and just looking a little heavy around my mouth and my chin. But other than that, I think everything is holding up well so far, and I will be back in a few hours with my final thoughts. Alrighty, it is 10:43 p.m. That means we are just past the 11-hour mark. And how did the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation Full Coverage Moisturizer hold up? I think it held up okay. It's, at this point, at a distance, it looks fine. If you get up close, of course, you're going to see the breakdown. So it has worn away pretty significantly on my chin and anywhere I've got expression lines. So around my mouth, on my chin, in between my eyebrows, it is breaking apart. It has worn off around my nostrils, and in the process of wearing off, it's gotten a little bit cakey around my nostrils. My cheeks still look fine, but I do feel like, I mean, I had full contour on today. I used actual contour, and I feel like the blush, bronzer, contour, highlight is also worn away. I can't see much of it left at all. It actually wore away pretty badly on my right side of my face and not as badly on the left side of my face. So I don't know what the deal with that is. It has worn off a bit around my nose. It's a little cakey in between my eyebrows. So it's just kind of the typical wear away of foundation that you would expect. And I would say up until about 7 p.m. or so, 7 to 8 p.m., it still looked very nice at a conversational distance. I did not see it breaking down at that point. So I would say you get a good 8 hours or so out of this, but you're not going to get much more than that without suffering some breakdown. The thing that surprised me the most, and unfortunately not in a good way, is that I don't feel like this is very hydrating. My skin feels a little bit dry at this point, and for something that claims to just be a moisturizer, I'm just kind of surprised that my skin feels dry. It's not terrible, it's not super, super dry, but I just feel a little bit itchy, a little bit tight, like a little bit dry, like I've been a little dehydrated. And that really surprised me. I also don't think this is full coverage. I don't think I could have gotten it to full coverage without it looking way too heavy, and so that disappoints me as well. It's just a claim that they're making that I don't think it's living up to. That said, I think it is a very pretty finish. It did not settle into lines additionally after I had tapped it out and set it, so I think that was just an excess product situation. Once I tapped it out and set it with powder, it did not move around anymore. It really didn't settle into my smile lines, my forehead lines. It settled a little bit into my deeper chin lines, but that happens with everything because that's a movement point and it's a big, big line. So I'm not mad at it for that. So if I had to give a grade to the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation, I'm gonna go B-. I was in the B range in my head pretty much all day. The disappointment in how sort of dry my skin feels, that's knocking it down just a little bit. I think it's really pretty. I think if you've got maturing skin, it's gonna be a-okay, at least worth a try. I didn't have any trouble with fine lines and settling in texture. I just wish I didn't feel so dry at this point in the day. For something that claims to be a moisturizer, I'm really surprised. I would like to see more shades in the range. I am glad that they added a couple on the fair end of the spectrum, so that's helpful for us pale people, but I would like to see it expanded, especially at the deeper end of the spectrum, because the pale people get all the attention. So that's what I think. We're gonna go B-. There you have it. My thoughts on the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation Full Coverage Moisturizer. If you enjoy foundation reviews, give me a thumbs up down below. If you have any suggestions for foundations, please leave them down in the comments. You can always go onto my channel page and search any name of a foundation and see if I have already reviewed it or worn it in a video. You can also go on my website, geekoutofwater.com, and click the Foundation Fest link. That will take you to a sortable, searchable, ranked spreadsheet of all of my foundation reviews. Give me a minute or two to get this one up there, but that way you can search them all by whatever words you're looking for, you know, cruelty-free or drugstore, high-end, or hydrating, or whatever you're looking for, and see what kind of results come up from my reviews. I've got links to all the actual reviews as well. So there you have it. Another foundation fix in the books. I appreciate your time. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.